We are Soccerphiles Canada. Check us out by searching International Soccer Preview. Welcome to Series 30, looking at the players of the 2025 Gold Cup. This episode is looking at the players of Canada, Part 2, the selections. Here we go! But for the listeners to the short version, it is a motorcycle ride through the Louvre and through the Canada team. And here we go. We have manager Jesse Marsh as the manager leading them through, so we'll consider him a definite candidate here. For goalkeepers, we had a definite candidate in Dane St. Clair, and he was selected. So is our likely candidate Maxime Crepeau, and possible candidates Tom McGill and Jonathan Sirois. Tom McGill won the battle there and was selected for the final squad. Sirois just on the preliminary squad, together with the possible but unlikely James Pantemis. Milan Borjan is now retired from the national team. In terms of predicted starters, we're not going to say a definite starter, but it's between St. Clair and Crepeau. We think St. Clair is a bit more likely, but Maxime Crepeau a possible starter there too. Okay, on to the defense. Well, we'll just introduce versatile defender or versatile player. He plays everything but goalie, it seems. Richie Larea, a definite candidate, and he was selected for the final squad. For central defense, we have two definite candidates. Moise Bombito, but sadly he is injured and was only selected for the preliminary squad, didn't make the final cut. Derek Cornelius, though, was selected for the final squad, and he'll probably be starting. Just a matter of who will start alongside of him. It could be either of our two likely candidates, Kamal Miller or Joel Waterman, both of those making the final squad, or it could be our possible candidates, Luc de Faugerolles and Jamie Knight-Labelle, both of those selected for the final squad. And then we won't get into the players below that level unless there's a need to. We'll just mention the retired Stephen Vittoria, retired from the national team there. In terms of starters, we think Derek Cornelius is definitely a starter, so it's a matter of who will start beside him. And we think the possible starters are Luc de Faugerolles and Joel Waterman. Perhaps Kamal Miller, but he seems to have dropped on the list a little bit there. Let's go to left backs. We have definite candidate Alphonso Davies. However, he is injured and wasn't even selected for the preliminary squad. We drop down to possible candidate Sam Adekugbe, who was selected for the final squad, but the other one, Zorhan Bassong, just making the preliminary squad. And in terms of starters on this side, we can't predict a definite starter, but likely starter Sam Adekugbe, and the backup or a possible starter Richie Larea. We're going to see in almost every position he'll be a possible starter. Over to the right back position, we have a definite candidate in Alistair Johnson. A bit concerning that he was not part of the warm-up games, though. Also a bit concerning that there really is no backup for him. We have three possible but unlikely candidates on the list, and all of them just made the preliminary squad. Anyway, for starters, we think Alistair Johnson is a definite starter, and I suppose if a backup is needed, Richard Larea, once again the biggest candidate for the backup position. For defensive midfielders, we have a versatile midfielder here too in Jonathan Osorio, and he was selected for the final squad. We're going to look at all the midfielders and then come back and predict the starters here. So we have defensive midfielders, definite candidate Stephen Eustachio, who was selected for the final squad, and likely candidate Nico Segura, also selected. However, possible candidate Samuel Piet, the long-serving the long-serving servant, I was going to say. What poor vocabulary I have. Anyway, not selected for the final squad, just the preliminary squad for him. Central midfielders, we have two definite candidates, Ismail Kone and Matthew Charnier, both of those selected for the final squad. Then we go all the way down to possible but unlikely, but we do have one of our candidates from that section selected, and that is Nathan Dillon Saliba. So a bit of a surprise there. We go to left and right midfielders. We don't have any candidates to speak of there. So we can go back and look at our predicted starters. And we think a definite starter, Stephen Eustachio, and a likely starter, Ismail Kone. If they use a three-man midfield or need a replacement, we think Matthew Charnier, newcomer Nathan Saliba, or Jonathan Osorio will be possible starters. All right, on we go to the attacking end, and we begin with left attackers. We have a definite candidate in Jacob Schaffelberg, and also a definite candidate in Liam Miller, but he was not selected for even for the preliminary squad because of injury. Schaffelberg, though, selected for the final squad. Unsurprisingly, we have another a long-serving player, Junior Hoyland, at the possible level here, and just like Samuel Piet, he was not selected for the final squad, just the preliminary squad. And one of our players seemingly off the squad, and perhaps the biggest surprise of all, Jayden Nelson selected for the final squad there. But in our analysis, we thought maybe that's because Liam Miller and Alphonso Davies are injured. Really is probably why Jayden Nelson is being brought in. In terms of predictions for the starting position, we think definite starter Jacob Schaffelberg, and Jayden Nelson will be his backup. On the right side, right attacking side of the field, we have definite candidate Ali Ahmed and likely candidate Tajon Buchanan. Those are actually the only two candidates over here, but this is the coded position of Richard Laria, so he's always in the picture. And we consider all three of those possible starters, Tajon Buchanan, Ali Ahmed, and Richard Laria, probably in that order. Richard Laria probably in more of a backup role for all of these positions. Central attacker, well, they don't use the position that much, the 4-2-3-1 formation, but sometimes they switch from two forwards to one forward, in which case forward Jonathan David may be found in the position of central attacker, or possibly Jonathan Osorio. We moved both of those players to other positions because this position isn't used much. Onto the forward line, and we have so many candidates for Canada with just in heaven three definite candidates: Jonathan David, Kyle Larin, and Tani Oluwasei, all three of them making the final squad. Actually, no candidates at the likely level here, but four at the possible level. Two of them making it. So making the final squad is Daniel Jebison and Promise David, and not making the cut, Theo Bair and Jason Russell-Rowe. And we also have six players at the possible but unlikely level. Five of them made it to the final squad, but we won't cover them here. For predicted starters, we think definitely Jonathan David and Kyle Larin are definite starters. And then, possible starters, Tani Oluwasei and Daniel Jebson. That is it. That is our Spotlight Review. Check us out by searching International Soccer Preview. We would like to thank Future Bass for the wonderful music you hear in this podcast. The title is called Alone.